previously on Chief Concerns.
We have to do something with the defensive end, with the edge rushers, and we need to get another receiver in there. So
my family was so happy, right? I was happy, but I believe that my family was a lot more happy. They were so proud of it, and just be grateful for them around them too. Kind of congratulate them and just loving them. And I know people will, but just take it all in. Take it all in.
I'd love to see a pass rusher too, a young guy that just, even if it's all he can do, I don't care if he can play the run at all, but if he can rush the passer, maybe he has some issues that let him fall back to us, but taking a chance on a guy like that might be a big benefit.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Hey guys, well, guess what? Draft's in the books. We're coming up on the NBA playoff season, but you know what? Today's the episode. After talking to a lot of our fans out there, we want a full-on draft recap. Is what the sense I'm getting from all of the Chief fans out there. So today we have our former tight end Jason Dunn and former cornerback Eric Warfield. They're going to go over the full draft with you, and they're going to tell you what they think of each pick. I guess the pros and cons of it, and just the overall kind of grade and the sense of everything. So guys, you guys ready to get into it?
Oh yeah, go.
All right, so okay, we're gonna jump right in. So our first concern is we're gonna talk about our first picks. Obviously, we didn't have a first round pick. We ended up getting Orlando Brown in that blockbuster trade 2 weeks ago. But we did have 2 second-round picks. One was Missouri favorite, which I looked at my timeline. As soon as we drafted this guy, all Chief fans are going nuts. All the Mizzou fans out there were loving this one. Was the inside linebacker Nick Bolton from Missouri. And then a couple picks later, we ended up drafting center from Oklahoma, Creed Humphrey, who everyone said was the best center in the draft, which also kind of takes care of that last need, I guess, we had on the offensive line. Gentlemen, what were your thoughts on these picks?
I was excited about the Bolton pick, and especially seeing his highlights. Very instinctive, got a knack for the ball, how to get there, make big plays, great speed, and his awareness is, he just has all the things that you need right now as a backer. You still have to go out there and compete and fight for the position and prove that you're worthy of that pick. But just off the highlights that I've seen alone, because I didn't get to watch a lot of them in Missouri, and even after the draft, I couldn't, I didn't have the time to go back and look through his films. But from the highlights that I've seen on him, dude is real good at contact. It kind of reminds me of Levante David over in Tampa. Not big, but plays big, and is very fast to get to the ball. And he's not one of those drag you down. He's gonna put you on the ground by instant contact. So I like everything that I see in him so far.
So Nick Bolton, man, I put out there on Twitter that to me this guy was a football player, and I said that whenever a coach gives you that, they tell you or they say this guy's a football player, what they mean is this guy is instinctual, right? And that's something that you just can't coach. You just can't coach that. And so when you watch him, like he was saying, you watch his highlights and just kind of watch his film, he's always he's right where he needs to be. He's always near the football. He's always just making plays. And so he was like the leading tackler. He played over in the SEC. So, I watched him, play against the UK a couple of times. But looking at some of that film, he has a knack just finding the football. And I think, to be honest with you, the reason he fell into, what he did into our lap is because they probably looked at he was undersized, right? 6 foot, 230 pounds, and sometimes you get caught up on the measurables of trying to get a guy who's 6'3" at linebacker, 235, 240. But this guy right here, he's a playmaker. He is a football player, instinctual, always around the football, and he's going to make plays. So look, and he's a guy, when I say football player also too, that means this guy can fit into any scheme. I don't care what scheme you have for him, he will be able to fit into that scheme. He's going to get in, he's going to play regardless if it's 4-3, 3-4, however you want to do it, play in the box. This guy right here is going to be able to come in and make plays, you know, because he, like I said before, he's a football player. Now, Creed Humphrey, looking at him, Creed, without a doubt, man, is unbelievable talent, offensive lineman. I mean, he's strong, he's big. He's captain of the team, so he's a leader. He has that leadership. They say he's a smart guy. You know, you keep hearing those things come up. So he has all the intangibles that you want in a center. And so I think this guy could come in right now and play. Matter of fact, that's why they drafted him, because they want him to come in, start right away. And I think he's going to do it. Now, he may not be, you know, as gifted athletically, right? And I think he probably needs to stay around about 300 pounds, maybe 295 in that range, you know, not getting too big, because you want a guy that's going to be able to do a good job pass setting, right? Because we're going to pass a lot in the football. And I think he could do a lot better in that phase of his game. But as far as like the run game, you know, bringing him in, man, he's going to absolutely just play some bully ball and absolutely just wreck defensive linemen and some linebackers on second level. So that's what I like about him. And Nick Bolton, talking about him, these are two guys, without a doubt, that's going to come in and play and start right away.
Yeah,
that's
instant impact.
Yeah, and so you already know these guys. You go ahead and fit them into, you know, you scheme what you want to do on the team. Get these guys ready. These guys are ready to go from day one.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up athleticism with Creed. So like the guys that I played with, Tim Grunhard and Casey Weekman, you couldn't see an athletic bone in either body. But once they dress up and dig those cleats in the dirt, then you saw an ultimate warrior come out. And I think that's what he kind of brings to this team. So I'm looking forward to him and Nick Bolton both playing right away. The thing with Nick, and I hate that people, you know, we say kind of undersized. The NFL is kind of turned into, I won't say kind of, it's turned into a pass-happy league. You know, so you don't find the big, bulky linebackers anymore, you know, with the neck rolls, looking out Bosworth or Ray Lewis type, because you don't get a lot of the running game. And even now with the running game, you get fast, active backs. So as we were kind of talking about with Chris Bober last week, was that especially with us as the Chiefs, we get away from what do we call it? Our goal line package, the short yardage package. So that it kind of takes away from what the fullback brings to a team. And so I like it because he's able to get skinny when getting through the line. You know, he's able to get through and make those plays behind the line of scrimmage. He's able to drop back in coverage and to make those plays with his size and his speed to cover, you know, decent size, quick tight end. So he brings a lot of qualities that I kind of want to say the new age backer does, because you don't go for a lot of those big guys anymore. Heck, there's not even a lot of them out there anymore. You know, Dallas's first pick, I want to say he was maybe smaller or maybe the same size as Bolton. You know, he's not a big linebacker. You know, he's a top 10 pick. So, you know, they just want playmakers, guys that can go out there and with great awareness and instincts and to make plays and to lead their defense. And I think that he could be that guy for our defense.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you see him, you know, when guards and centers trying to pull on him and get him, before they know it, he's already passed them. They like, man, where is this guy at? You know, they can't put his hands on him because he's just, like you said, he gets skinny. And a linebacker that does that and just runs, he has a fluid motion of running and getting around blocks just to be there, right? You know, in anticipation. That's going anticipating where a run back's going to be. And that's just it's an absolute wonderful attribute to have as a linebacker. Yep. And it's just so key. Like you said, man, they want players. They want people to make plays. And look, you get a guy here that's going to be able to make plays. I don't care how big he is. That joker could be, you know, 5'8", 215 pounds. If he comes in, make plays and make tackles, hey, this is the guy we want to. Hey,
that's who you want. Hey, there's times we bring Tyrann Mathieu down in the box.
Yeah, right.
You know, because he's a playmaker. So
yes,
you know, you get that in a and an actual linebacker that can make those same kind of plays. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a honey badger type player, but I mean, he's got potential to be that kind of playmaker. To just you have him in making plays down the field in the secondary to making plays in the back of the offensive line. So, like I said, I'm just excited to see what he brings.
Yeah, definitely day one. And I will say this, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Casey Wickman. All right, Grundy was a great center, and he was able to get out there and block and stuff like that. But Casey, man, we asked Casey to do a whole lot, and Casey was kind of like an undersized center, they would call. You know what I'm saying? He was like 200. And he played a lot bigger than what he was, man. Because Casey would pull around. I used to love watching the film because Casey would get up out of that stance, man, get around that corner, and he would just pick safeties, man, and linebackers off, pulling on the edge, man. So hopefully Creed Humphrey is good. He will be able to do the same. But I love it because now what you've done is you just opened up a whole different dynamic part of your game, right? The running game. That's what's been missing. We've been missing the running game. So here it is. Bring in the guys that's going to be able to put their foot in the ground and come off and start knocking blocks off. That's what you need. Yeah. So good picks, man. Good picks.
Yeah, with the Nick Bolton pick, we were texting about during the draft, but it allows us, it frees us up. So for next year, when Anthony Hitchens becomes a free agent, we don't have to spend money on that middle linebacker. We have Willie Gay and Nick Bolton as two young badass inside backers for the next 3 to 5 years. So I mean that frees us up there. And then the Creed Humphrey pick, which I thought was cool, is that Orlando Brown was telling Veach to go get Creed Humphrey. That's his guy. They played with each other at Oklahoma. So to have the left tackle and center right there, at boys and friends, I think that's awesome. Just kind of show that camaraderie and that chemistry on the line already before day one. And Creed Humphrey didn't allow a sack. And, we all know how much Oklahoma likes to throw the ball. And the guy not allowing a sack, that's pretty good. So, yeah, I have to agree with you guys on that. Great picks. I do know you wanted your boy Basham, though, JD. You were talking about Basham all week, and we were that close to getting him.
Ooh, man, look, they knew. And what do you do if be offensive, right? The best defense is to be offensive on certain things. So Buffalo was like, look, we can't let this guy go. We have got to go ahead and take this dude. And I was just waiting. I'm just like, oh, we're going to get him. We're going to get him. I just know it's going to happen. And sure enough, Buffalo comes, swoops right in. No, we take him out of your hands. We pulling him out of there.
Well, he's the enemy now, so.
I know it. So, yeah. We're gonna blow him up. Bash him. Hey, we're gonna blow you up, buddy. Sorry about it.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's like just seeing the way Buffalo drafted, because they drafted a D-end in the first round and then drafted Basham in the second round. The way I was seeing, it's like an arms race, man. You're getting all these AFC contenders getting, just going after the edge guys, and then we're going after we're bolstering up our whole line. So it's just like pretty much a combating back and forth. So I think it's cool to see that we are investing in the O-line, as we've talked about pretty much all year since the show began. So
chess, brother. It's chess. Yeah. Hey, man, we ain't playing checkers, guys. It's chess.
Yeah, but
they know. Look, everybody's seen what happened in the Super Bowl. And they was just like, look, we need to get some edge rushers to come after that powerful offense they got. Come after Patrick Mahomes. So it just makes sense. Why not?
Yeah. Now, we didn't get Carlos Basham, but in the round 4, we did get defensive end from Florida State, Joshua Kaindoh. So he was coming out of high school. He was like one of the top 3 guys coming out of high school in I guess ESPN's top 150. So a lot of people say could be one of those picks where the guy got hurt a lot in college, but he could. I mean, if you see some of his highlights, he kind of jumps off the screen. He's a big dude. He's like 6'6", 6'7", and he's kind of quick. What were your thoughts on this pick?
Well, I'll say this. Kind of watching his highlights, I like for him to be a little bit more aggressive. I think sometimes he kind of waits at the line of scrimmage. Quick, I didn't really see quickness as much. I think he's a good player, and him being hurt, I think he's going to get better. I think he's a project, and he's not a guy I would say come in day one and starts, right? And the reason I say that is because we see that we just signed Kamali Correra, another edge rusher we had got from there was a free agent,
Baltimore.
from Baltimore. So the thing is, he's a young guy. It's going to take him a couple of years to kind of come into his own. But I think he's a good project because he has a lot of things you can work on to get him better. He's going to get reps, no doubt about it. He's going to get reps. But I think, to me, just watching him, and here it is. You always want to evaluate a guy to say, who you going to go against on Sunday, right? To me, that's really how it boils down to. So the guys he's going to go against on Sunday, is he going to be able to come in and be effective? Is he going to make a whole lot of sacks? Is he going to make a whole lot of – and the thing is, I just seen him wait a lot at the line of scrimmage, but I think he's going to be a better player later on. I think it's a good pick, for us. But I think it's going to be, developing a player, developing Kaindoh. I do.
Yeah, I see that too. But man, like with some of these picks and recent history, as it's proven, being in the right situation at the right time could bring out the best in a person. And a guy with his size and attributes, he could be a really good, pass rusher. He is a bit hesitant at times, and injury bug might have kept up, have bit him in the butt a bit too long. But he's definitely one of those that, if with the right coach around the right personnel, you can make a beast out of this guy. That kind of size and that kind of quickness. He could be a hell of a pass rusher. And I'm assuming that our defensive staff saw something within him that they can bring out of him. And if not for this first year, years to come.
Yeah. And I believe that. I think they did see something in him, right? Which, I see flashes in him too, of being great. It's just, when I'm evaluating, you watching these. So Eve, same thing. Like, so when you see a defensive end, that bend that they have, you know what I'm saying? Like underneath the tackle and stuff. And it seemed like he has to work on that, right? And like you said, if you find the right, defensive coach to get him ready, say, look, we got to work on this aspect of your game.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more natural. We don't want you to be robotic. We don't want you coming at the tackle and all of a sudden dip. It's got to be one fluid motion. It has to be one fluid motion, when you come back there. So, I agree with you. I do. I think, right situation, he can definitely be a beast. And he'll learn, look, these guys in front of him, what we got right now on the defensive line, he's going to learn a whole lot. He's going to learn. They're getting right. They're getting ready.
Yeah. And Kaindoh, if I was seeing, we lost Tano. I can't pronounce the time. After all these years, I couldn't pronounce Tano's last name, but I call him K-Pass. We lost him to the Saints this offseason. He was also a guy we drafted high, second round pick. He was a project. He was from Villanova. And then this guy, also I saw a lot of player comps were saying very similar to Tano coming out of college. This guy's kind of raw. He's a 6'7" guy, both kind of similar in stature. So it could be a project. And, with the way Spags likes to run his defense is over, his past, he likes to have a constant guys going in there. So this guy will get his definitely his some playing time. Definitely a project. All right. So, okay. So the next concern is round 5, which was, I guess, a lot of Chief fans were, really happy about these picks, the fun skill player positions. We ended up trading up for this tight end from Duke, Noah Gray, who some people are calling him Baby Kelsey. And then also drafting a couple picks later, drafting Workout Warrior, Cornell Powell. I don't know if you guys saw him run his 40 time without a shirt on. The guy looked like a Greek god. I mean, it was insane. But what were your thoughts on these draft picks?
I like Powell, especially with, you having somewhat, I won't say somewhat, but someone of like Travis Kelce that's teaching you the things that he's learned throughout his time here in Kansas City. That's put him on a pedestal of right now being the best tight end in the game. Heck, probably on the way of taking all of Tony's numbers down. But you get to learn from a guy that's it seems like Kelsey's in his prime right now. I know he's a little bit up there in age, but I feel like he's right there in his prime to be able to show this guy, the ins and outs of what he's of how to play the position at a high level. And I don't remember if Noah was more of a blocking tight end or if he was the receiver type. But either way, he's going to have to learn both because Right now, like I said, we keep talking about the Brinks truck that's back there, and what it has, how we have to protect that. So, and Kelsey, I can't see us having to bring him off the field. You know, God forbid, you know, something happens, and I pray it doesn't. You know, he's one of those that we have to live on the field at all times. And for a quick breather, to get this little young guy a little action, you know, I highly doubt he'll see the field unless it's mostly special teams. So he does get some years to learn under probably the best tight end in the game right now.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, man, I like this pick. I do. I going back and looking at his film and just kind of watching him, man. He's got a little twinkle, a little wiggle in his hips, man. He likes playing football. He does a good job going up, catching the football, strong hands, and he's exciting. So I look at it, you know, they say baby Kelsey, man, but he's athletic. He's athletic. Now, I know Kelsey was used to be a quarterback, and this guy used to play a quarterback too. So I think, you know, what helps you out as far as being a quarterback is you understand route running. You understand what you want out of your receivers. And so to him, he's like already thinking right now in his mindset as a quarterback, this is what the quarterback wants, right? I know how to get open. I know how to set this guy up, you know, to catch the football. So you can see a lot of that in his play. And so another thing, like we look at kind of some of the story, and it's consistent, finding guys who are like captains, right? Creed Humphrey, a captain on his team. You know, we talked about Bolton, you know, one of those guys who was captain on his team, you know, a guy that was a leader. And they talk about this guy being a leader also too. So I think he ended up being like the all-time leading receiver and a tight end at Duke. So he does a little bit of both. So he'll block. And he's been inline blocking, and he loves it. You can see that he doesn't look. He don't back away from it. He don't ole guys. He's coming off the football. And I think sometimes because he hadn't done a lot of it, that he's excited to do it. You know what I'm saying? He likes mixing it up when he gets a chance to do it, and that bodes well for him. And I think, like you, E, I think he'll play a lot of special teams, but I really do believe that if Kelsey needs a blow, this guy could come in and make plays. I really do. And I think he's the guy that you can go ahead and start, you know, kind of pushing in, you know, every once in a while just to kind of give him a break. Now, the thing is, we all know it's all about the 53-man roster. Are you going to make it? Are you going to make that roster this week? You know, what's it going to be? You're going to be that guy that's going to make the trip? So I think he's going to be fighting for that. Now, but I do love that pick with him. I like Noah Gray. Now, here's the thing. Cornell Powell is a strong receiver, strong hands, strong guy. We keep saying that. It shows up on film, and he's destroying guys in the running game. He's pushing them down. I think he needs to work on his route running a little bit more consistency as far as like what he's going to see, especially against DBs, you know, on this level now, right? And I remember Al Saunders used to tell us all the time, look, you ain't going against a guy who's studying biophysics, right? This guy over here is making, you know, $15, $20 million a year, who's trying to, you know, eat and keep food on his table. So, you know, when you come down here, look, you better bring your A game. And so if you don't, guess what? You ain't gonna play. It's a performance-based business, man. You don't perform, you ain't gonna play. Pure and simple. So I think he needs to get better. I don't know how he's going to fit into the offense right now. I like the guys that we got. I know they'll try to push him along. So they're going to give him a chance to compete to make
it's going to be a dogfight.
It's going to be a dogfight.
Look, you got guys right now they're trying to show that they're.
That's right.
You know, Tariq is number one. He's number one receiver that we have out there.
Yeah.
Kelsey's number one tight end. And so as far as like everybody else, it's like you gotta prove to me that you belong on this field. And so that's what McCole, Hardman, Robinson, all those guys, they got to prove that, you know, because when we gave Hardman the opportunities, he played well, but then he had some hiccups. You know, so he didn't prove that he was that solid receiver that we've been searching for. You know, that's why we went out and we drafted a guy that right now. And I think we're still looking right now because I want to say I read something on Twitter about, you know, Alshon Jeffries might still be available.
Yeah.
And so there might be a few others out there. So who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight at the receiver position.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. Like with him, you know, I don't know if he's going to be able to fit in, you know, this year. But I think we are looking. I think we still have to find one more guy, maybe a veteran guy to come in, you know, maybe, you know, take 40 balls a year, right?
Yeah.
40 balls a year. If you can get that 35 to 40 balls a year, man, and add on to what we're trying to do offensively. But this guy right here, they talked about maybe he's not as sure-handed, you know, just some of the concerns about him. So my thing is, you know, is this guy going to go against the best, you know, Jalen Ramsey? How's he going to do against Jalen Ramsey on Sunday? That's the question, right? That's how you have to evaluate these guys. So that's the way I look at it, man. So he just got to fit in where he can, man. I don't know. I don't know. But he's a good pick for us. He'll develop.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah, it was certainly a need for us getting Powell and Noah Gray. We addressed two needs for us, which I guess it's all you can ask for. But I did read a report or watched a report from James Palmer from NFL Network earlier. He said that they really feel that Noah Gray could be a guy who could come in and spell Kelsey, like, you know, to not leave him on the field like we do pretty much all games. He's a guy who would come in right away and kind of spell Kelsey, which we're talking about a 5th round tight end. That's pretty good. If we're talking about him coming in and spelling Kelsey.
That would be amazing if he can come in and our offense would miss a beat. You know, it's just like we still have Kelsey out there. You know, and I just, you know, we hate to say, you know, comparing to Kelsey, but heck, that's the number one tight end in the game. So yeah, that's where you're competing at. Yeah. And so if he can come in and the offense not miss a beat, and you know, we got the defense still on their toes, worried about him doing the same things, you know, or similar things to what Kelsey's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in motion.
Yeah, man, he looks like it. He looks like he got that in too. I'm telling you, when I'm watching, I'm like, this dude, he jumps out on the screen. He played in ACC, so that, you know, he's going against great competition. You already know that. But like I said, man, he feels excited when he goes out there to go play. And he don't look like a guy that would be nervous if you actually come in for Travis Kelce. He'd be like, oh, yeah, bet. At least to me, that's what it seems like. You know what I'm saying? His demeanor seems like that. So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, and they also said Cornell Powell in that same report, the Chiefs felt that he played as good as any other receiver in the second half of the season last year. It's also cool too. The guy's going from playing with the best quarterback in college football to the best quarterback in the NFL. Just kind of go from Trevor Lawrence to Mahomes. I think that's pretty special. He's got lucky there.
You know, I don't think they'll ask a whole. Well, I can't say ask a whole lot. Every team that you go to is going to require your best. Now, picking you in the 5th round, you know, we're not expecting you to come out and be all pro to start every play. You know, if you can give us a few plays here, contribute special teams there, you know, you've earned your worth, especially as a 5th, you know, and on up in the round. So expectation levels aren't there as we are, you know, as we talked about with Bolton and with Humphrey. Those are guys that we're looking to have an immediate impact with the team. But having a guy like, you know, Cornell Powell, who can come in and, you know, shake up the receiver core, and now all of a sudden, you know, we got Kelsey, Hill, Powell, you know, still got Hardman out there who's, you know, great at returning and return game on special teams, but also plugged in on the offense as a receiver, as a slot receiver. So, I mean, it could be something a lot more exciting to watch. Well, I won't say a lot more, but something more exciting to watch than what we have seen in the years.
I'll tell you what, man, and he attests to this. When you get into these camps, all right, and new guys come in, you see everybody looking around the room, right? And you start doing the number game, don't you? You start looking like, oh, hey, this joker right here ain't gonna beat me out. I ain't gonna let this dude right here beat me out. And so you watch what they're doing in practice, you watch what they're doing in film, you watching every aspect of it, because it's just competition. This is just what it is, man. This is your livelihood now. So ain't no, hey, coming, like I said, coming from college, ain't you coming to kiss your girlfriend. Ain't none of that. Hey, this is the real deal. When you come in the NFL, hey, dog eats dog. That's how it works. Hey, you gotta come in, you gotta post yourself up to make sure, look, I gotta get on the field. I gotta be the one that travels. I gotta make the 53-man roster. Because if I don't, and I find myself outside them doors, that ain't a good place to be. So, hey, and look, they trying to replace you every year. That's how it works. Every year. So, hey, man, that's just how it is. And everybody's going to be looking around the room seeing who's going to make his joke or not. Is it going to be me or is it going to be him? So, young guys don't quite understand that quite yet until they get
They don't.
Yeah, well, I will say also with the whole fifth, and this is two things I've noticed as far as this draft goes. We're as fans and just hearing that there's these reports, I feel like we're taking it in this draft in this this day and age, right, with the Mahomes era, with how much money's going towards him. I feel like these 5th and 6th round picks, these later round picks, are actually going to be more of a factor in the team that we know and watch in the fall, rather than in past years where usually a 5th round pick, that guy probably will never see the light of day, right? But now we're already talking about Noah Gray being a possible, a guy who's rotating in with the offense during the season. I mean, maybe it's just, they're talking now 2 days after the draft, but I mean, the fact that we're already talking these 5th round picks possibly actually getting some emergence on the scene during the fall is just kind of crazy to me, because in the past, where people don't even know the 5th round's name is, it's just, oh, that's a guy, it's a camp body, probably not going to make the team, or it's just maybe it's just because with the situation we're in that we have these young guys 5th, 6th round, they have to come in and produce for us because the way our team is set, we're not being able to spend that much money. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, you can guarantee that every pick was strategic, and they've taken every factor, within consideration, right? Future-wise, what's going to happen with guys' contract. So that's just part of the game of just understanding, like, where you are, as far as, dealing with contracts, maybe keeping guys, healthy, all these different things that come in. But yeah, it's always about the future thing. Future, what is the guy's going to do for you for the future?
It's always strategic, man. I mean, it depending on where you go, does it play a factor? Yeah, because me going in as a 2nd round pick as opposed to you going in as a 5th round pick, I got more of a head start on you. I got more of a head start on you financially, and I got more of a head start on you with the organization because they saw something in me that they didn't see in you. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna get more plays. I'm gonna get more coaching.
Yeah.
Than you are. So yeah, you might have to work harder. You might have to ask more questions. You might have to put in more time. But that's where you landed. And so now it's up to you. When you make that team, it's up to you to take full advantage of what they're giving you. And so what I always tell my guys is get to know the guys that start. Get to know those guys that are in front of you, because you get to learn everything from them. You watch them, you learn from them. And then after that, you either watch film with them or you hang out with them afterwards. Because when it comes to cut day or release day, you at least got these older guys that can say, I vouch for him because I put the time in with him. I know what he wants. I know where his heart is because he's putting the effort in. So, and if they don't see it in you, hey, you just don't have it. Some guys don't have it.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's true. That's true.
It seems like, the guys drafted them, obviously the earlier rounds have a longer leash, whereas 5th and 6th round guys get the shorter leash, right? I mean,
more money invested. That's that money you want. Yeah. Money work for you.
Money talks.
Still a business. It's a business now. Like, yeah.
Always has been, always will be.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that's what the common joke on Twitter is Garrett Dieter, one of the receivers we have, is that guy's only hanging on to his job because he's best friends with Mahomes. Mahomes making sure he stays in the team. And that kind of goes with what you're saying. Try to latch on to some of the guys. If Mahomes vouches for you, that's it.
Man, do you see where professional sports is going right now? Just to an astronomical, like, financially, it is. You got guys that are able to purchase franchises with the amount of money that they're paying. And before, I say, like, with a contract like mine, there's no way I could buy, into what the Royals or the Chiefs or some organization out there and be part owner. And I was making big money. Well, at least I thought I was. But like now, you can get a first-year contract, and man, you are. It's hard. I say, it's hard to go broke, like hard.
Yeah,
you got to really give it. You got to be out there burning money, try to go broke nowadays, man, because they are putting it in your bank account right now.
You ain't lying. Hey, you ain't lying. Look, I tell the young guys, man, I was coaching. I said, man, if you don't want to go out here and get this money and work, you see how much money they're giving to these guys right now? And the money's just going up. For the life of me, I'm just like, if y'all just understood like what was on the table and what you can get, what the potential you can earn, like you should always work and try to become the best. So, you know, he was in a different bracket than me, man. I got a couple of cheeseburgers and a hot dog I could afford, but that was about it.
Hold on, JD, hold on. So I played golf with this dude, man. He didn't know I played football. So I told him, like, yeah, I played a few years, yada, yada, yada. He said, yeah, man, I could have been, I didn't have the size, I didn't have the speed, I didn't have the talent. I said, dog, you sit there, you gave yourself every excuse in the book. Because you know who the most winning quarterback, probably the GOAT of football right now, may have had the slowest 40, the lowest vertical, the least amount of talent. But he put the effort in at what he wanted to be and worked on his craft. And so don't give me the excuse like, oh, I hate when all right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. So I hate when I play with, golf and you get a bunch of old white men. It's like, yeah, that's because I'm white. No, it's not.
Right.
It's not. It says you didn't choose to take that route. We chose to take this route because we felt like, it was, for me, I love sports. And it just so happens that throughout the years, I got better and better at sports. And so it became a passion of mine. Sports became a passion. And all of a sudden, I felt like I could have done this sport and I could have did that sport. To say I would have been a professional at those sports, I can't say that. But at least gave myself a chance. A lot of these people aren't giving themselves a chance because they feel like, oh, I can't run a 4.3. I can't jump like that. Man, that don't mean you can't go out there and practice, put the work in your own backyard or in some little park. The guy I play golf with, he's like 5'10". And he's like, yeah, I was too short, but I was a beast in high school. I said, what if Dante Hall had said that?
Right.
Like he's short, but he didn't give up. He just kept at it. Like I hate when they don't give themselves more credit than what they, really have within them. Because I'm not gonna say every person is a pro athlete. I'd be lying to myself and lying to them.
Right.
For one, that the pro teams aren't built like that to take every single person. But there could be a bigger pool of people out there to give you and to give yourself a chance to just at least give it a try.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that, and that's true. Because anytime you put yourself in a box and limit yourself, and guess what? That's what you're gonna get. Pretty much, and a lot of, in as far as we're saying in certain realms, right? But yeah, man, who would have told Aaron Glenn, like, you ain't big enough to play, corner. Aaron Glenn, I used to see him every time he make a little play, he'd do like this, like get a little mighty, like he'd do like that, like showing his little muscles. Like you can't tell this joker right here, man, he ain't big. His heart is big. He plays big out there. Like you said, Dante, who gonna tell him, that he can't do things like that? And so, yeah, we should never try to, limit ourselves for sure on those things. And like you said, everybody ain't gonna make it for sure, but man, give yourself a chance. Try to, you know what I mean? At least try. But yeah, man. Little guy. I remember this Aaron Glenn used to do that little lead, like
Yeah, well, it's one of those things too. Like, I played D2 and D3 football. I'm not the biggest guy. I was listed at 5'8", but probably 5'6", but 5'8" when I stand on my toolbox. But I gave myself a shot. I obviously wanted to play in the NFL or the CFL. I was like, by the time I got to my D2 or D3 squad, I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance I can play in the CFL. I got hurt, and that was it. I gave my all to get to that level, but my best was D2, D3. But that's what it is, and everyone's going to go to the NFL. So yeah. I mean, I believe me, I hear the excuses all the time. We hang out with my buddies, like if this happened, we would have won states, or I would have gone D1. It's like, oh, okay, well, we didn't, but but whatever.
Right. Hey, it does happen, right?
You just try to get there, But okay, so we're gonna go to this is actually an interesting pick. So our last pick that we're going to talk about is the guard that we drafted from Tennessee, Trey Smith. Now, kind of an interesting story here. Everyone said this is probably the best pick that we had in this draft. This guy was a top 5 interior lineman, according to Bucky Brooks, but he's had a history of blood clots. He hasn't had any problems with it in the past few years, but because of medical history and the way the combine was this year, teams couldn't really kind of test out players and they see what was going on with them. But the Chiefs did their due diligence apparently, and we ended up drafting this guy in the 6th round. Now, this guy, if you've seen his tape, I'm sure you guys have. This guy is a beast. This is what you want as a guard. What were your thoughts on this pick, and do you think it was our best pick value-wise in the draft?
I mean, you get somebody with his size and capabilities, you always think it's a steal, but there's a reason all those teams picked over him throughout all those rounds. So right now, for what he is with the Chiefs, you hope and pray that his health gets better. We don't have to run into whatever that pushed him back to the 6th round develops during the season. So if he turns out to be a beast, I'm happy. I know you guys are happy. But yeah, to drop that far, a lot of teams had to have seen something to let him go that far. But then again, like what we see in him to pick him up in the 6th and just, and him not having to be a free agent is still a sign that, you got potential to be somebody special, and we understand that the health part of your history has probably kept you or put you back into this round. And heck, I don't even know how you control something like that. Because I had a teammate in college and it basically ruined his NFL career, with Tommy Frazier, one of the best athletes that I saw play the quarterback position and could not go any farther than that because of blood clots.
Wow. Is that what Is that what happened to Tom? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's sensitive, dangerous kind of situation, but hopefully it doesn't bother him throughout the season, and he can be, the beast that he was in Tennessee.
Yeah, man. We know that the whole reason, like you said, he fell to the 6th round, and it is definitely because of medical condition, and that is something that you had to be concerned about. And you could control these things, man, with blood thinners and all type of different things like that as well to try to help out. But to take them, during strenuous times, and I know that's just one of those things they had to monitor all the time. But his ability in himself, oh my gosh! I mean, without a doubt, man, he is a football player, and he's another guy, a football player. I mean, he goes out there, man. He works hard. I watched him in some one-on-ones and some of the things in Senior Bowl, and I watched some of his film, man, him playing this past year, and you could tell like he's getting stronger, he's getting better. So what was ailing him? He was just talking about some of the things he was doing that he didn't really have any concerns about. Like his strength was coming back. He felt like he was coming back as far as a player and whatnot. And I think he's hopefully, prayerfully, he just gets better over time, right? Regardless if he plays football or not, I just want to pull for him. I hope he just turns out well, fully just in life in itself. But without a doubt, he's a steal on our side, just from what he can do physically, what he brings to the game. And so if he's able to overcome these things and doctors feel like he's all right, I think he's going to be a guy that maybe can look to be a starter within the next maybe 2 or 3 years, to be honest with you. That's the type of ability that he has. Young guy. He's big. I think he's around, like 331, something like that. He's massive, man. He's a big guy, man. He's massive. He's a monster out there. But I love it. He goes out, man. He mauls guys, moves pretty well, pretty athletic for his size. So, yeah, I think as far as value-wise, we got a great value in this dude, really do. So we're just pray for him, man. Everything works well for him medically. So I know he has also, too, like a kind of like a really kind of, sad story. I think his mom might have passed away, and it was, he had to deal with some of those things, too. So a guy like that, man, you just hear his story, things he's been through medically, you just pull for. So I'm just pulling for the guy, man. I am. So I love just having a guy like that and say, hey, yeah, guess what? This guy right here, Pulling for you, buddy. Pulling for you.
Yeah, I think a lot of these draft experts. I know we've talked about the draft experts. McShay, Kuiper, and all those types of guys. A lot of people didn't even know about the blood clots issue when we drafted Trey Smith on ESPN. McShay was like, I for life of me, I did not know why he was slipping. And then the whole blood clot story, how his medical report came out, and McShay had no idea of those medical reports. He's talking about the value. I don't know why this guy's dropping in the 6th round. And then Bucky Brooks had him as his top 5 interior lineman in the entire draft. It just goes to show you that this year with the whole no combine, a lot of the medical reports kind of got lost. A lot of people didn't know every team was doing team by team evaluation instead of the one kind of, entire evaluation process at the combine. So it was just a very interesting year and interesting draft. And I don't know if you guys think this, but do you guys think there's going to be kind of you're going to see a lot of guys who are rated poorly just come out and just at 5th or 6th round guys tear it up this year because there was the real combine evaluation. It was just like, it was kind of run and gun. Everyone was doing their own thing with the pro days.
So as we already had that conversation, like Jason is a big believer in the combine. I'm not, because I feel like that film is gonna the things that what you put on film is basically gonna get you drafted to either 1st round, 6th round free agency. Now, yeah, some things are gonna help you. Whether you bench more, whether you run faster, whether you your agility drills are quicker, your vert, something might make you stand out to help you a little bit more. But I just think the combine is for entertainment. That's just me. Never liked it. Yeah, it's cool to go out there and see them guys run 4.2s and 4.3s, but man, I've just never been a fan. I just feel like it's all for entertainment.
I tell you what, and I'm gonna tell you a coach that you played under, Peter Junta. I remember going out to the combine talking to him. He's like, "Look, JD, man, these DBs out here, ain't none of them got any hips. They don't have any hips." And so seeing that, live and right there in front of you to kind of, coach these guys up and look, to be honest with you, sometimes when you play, on the field and some of the film don't lie, right? We say it, film don't lie. I get that part of it. But sometimes you got to put your eyes on it, man. This dude might have a little, hitch in his step or something like that. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. Is this dude's leg shorter than the other? What's going on? And hey, you never know. So you got to put your eyes on a guy and evaluate him. Plus, you're evaluating against everybody else. So everybody, all the good players are there at the same time, so you can evaluate, in a full scope. So now you don't have to look at the film. Now I'm looking how he's competing against, the other best corner in the league. I'm looking how he's competing against the other tight ends. I'm looking how he's competing against the other quarterbacks. How strong is he? How many times you do 225? And I was looking at guys that, you thought were strong, 225, 12 times. It's like, this joke ain't as strong as you think he is. So I just look at it. Some of those things is just giving you a better look, a bigger opportunity. And we've seen guys stop, raised because they've done a great job at the combine. So I get what you. I understand. Look, film is great, and I'm 100% with you on that. I think what you see on film is what you're gonna get. But also, too, man, I got to put my eyes on them. I got to go ahead and evaluate you. I got to talk to you also too. See some of your answers. See where you're at.
I know it helps, JD. I'm not gonna sit and argue and say it doesn't help some players, but majority of those mock drafts are mocked because of what the guy has put on film. It's before the combine has come by, and it's, hey, we got you predicted going this far. The top 10 is basically already picked by the time the championship game is played. Mm-hmm. We've already talked about, he's a Heisman player. He's this player, should go this pick to this team, and all of a sudden, combine.
But I'm saying is that, okay, the fact of like somebody from like North Dakota State going against somebody from Miami, right? You want to see those two guys right beside each other, because you're like, well, North Dakota State ain't really playing anybody in that level that Miami's playing against. So let me see how this guy really is in person. You know what I mean? Because some film and competition, because shoot, if I'm playing against, a butt team, you know, they ain't really got a whole lot of talent on there, and you whooping them. Well, I can't be like, ooh, you know, Joker looks good out here on film. Well, the team might have been crap. It might have been terrible. So sometimes, you know, you're going to blow out bad competition. So I want to see this guy. I want to see this guy come in and actually be 6'5", you know, 250. All of a sudden, you telling me he's 6'5", 250 on his media guy, and he comes in here, he's actually 6'2", 235. You're like, wait a minute, this ain't the guy we're looking for. Are you sure this the guy on film? Are you sure that's him? Like, yeah, that's him, coach. What? We just got lied to. And we think on film he's 6'5", 250 walking around. Like you said, looking like a Greek god, you know, look like Tarzan and play like Jane. We can't do that. We can't do it, dude. Coming in like that. Hey, and it happens. It happens all the time, every single year in the media guide. You was probably about 215 on the media guide, wasn't you?
But hell, I was.
What y'all? You weigh 250? Well, okay. But bigger, buff. Like, look, this dude right here, man. So I just say, coaches got to see guys. I like to see a guy. I want to see if this is exactly who you're talking about. I want to see this Greek guy walk into the room. I want to see a dude come out here and his muscles are coming out of his shoulders and on his neck. I want to see that. You know, I do.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that was something that a lot of the experts were saying this year is they've never seen so many guys run 4.2s and 4.3s this year. And they say that's because probably the pro day where, they got their own coaches, timing them and stuff. And that's the official time they're sending out to people. So they say they can't wait to get back to the combine where it's one official time instead of the pro day time, which, kind of it takes a tick below what the combine time is.
Dude, every high school kid runs a 4.5, 4.4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on now. You don't run no 4.5, 4.4.
I know I came out of high school lines. Like when I ran a 4.3. You know I couldn't run no 4.3.
Well, I told Jason when I was coming out of high school, I ran a 4.58, but when I would like send out my questionnaires and stuff, fill them out, I would say 4.5. I'd forget the 8 part.
Oh, yes.
No math.
It does 4.5. All right, so the final question here tonight, as we close out draft season of 2021, is there any position that you guys think this Chiefs still need to address heading into training camp?
Position-wise, I think we still need to address maybe wide receiver, maybe not as important, but maybe getting another veteran guy in here. Corner, I like to have a corner also, in here as well.
Is Breland done with us right now before I cut you off? Like he hasn't signed anybody else, right?
No. So the latest report is Nate Taylor said yesterday that because we just brought in the DB from Denver and Philadelphia, his name's Will Parks, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought he was a running back.
Safety. No, he's a
That's the safety. You're right.
DB,
yeah. Slot guy. I think he'll play slot a little bit, cover.
Yeah, but they said they haven't closed the door. Nate Taylor's report was they have not closed the door on bringing back Breland. So that's where it is right now.
Gotcha.
I mean, as far as that, man, that's shoot. That's pretty much it. I see that maybe this needs to be addressed. I told you we got the Carrera, as an edge rusher, kind of slash edge rusher linebacker. I think that's good. I think he was a good addition too. 5-year guy, didn't play for 5 years, or I think maybe 5 or 7, something like that. He's been in the league for a little while. 5 years. So yeah. So I think he'll bring a little bit to the table as well.
I mean, I don't think there's anything out there major on the market that we can bring in that's gonna impact us to the point of what well, I would say impact to the point of something, but just I don't think there's anybody out there in the market that has the all pro type capabilities to come in to either be a edge rusher, big name guys, or big time wide receivers. I know I said Alshon Jeffrey, Tate might be still out there. Those guys that can just fill in that have had the prominent careers. I'm happy with what we did. I'm happy with the picks that we have, and how we spent money to get these picks. So at this point, yeah, a solid receiver, coming in, helping Hill and Kelsey would be fabulous. But right now we don't have that. And I'm happy with, Hardman and Robinson to see what they can do this year. They get a chance to prove that, they're more than a slot receiver and special team guys. So like I said earlier, that the battlefield for the receiver core is going to be something fierce.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that report earlier that I was talking about, the James Palmer one, in that same breath, he also said they're looking poised to have Hardman as the number 2 receiver this year. So that's what they're saying. So hopefully, they said not having, the proper offseason last year and the COVID, it kind of took away from his sophomore, kind of like his second year of trying to get into it again. So maybe now coming out this next year, maybe he'll learn the playbook more, have more on field time with his guys. So
Yeah.
But yeah, Breeland's obviously the number 1 guy. We need to bring him back as another guy in the secondary as far as the corners go. I love our young guys, but having Breeland back would be nice. And I would say a receiver, if we can add an Alshon or a Golden Tate. And I still hope we can bring in Melvin Ingram back or Justin Houston. I want just one more edge guy. I don't know about you guys. I feel like pretty much we got the Jaron Reed, and then we got this Kaindoh guy. That's pretty much it. I mean, I would say we need at least just one more guy.
Are you talking about Ingram from San Diego?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
That.
yeah, but Carrera, they brought him in as the edge, right? He can play both. So he's a guy, like you said, who could be hungry. I know he hurt his hamstring, but he, come in, be hungry, give you some plays, give you some pass rush.
I hate to throw this here and there, but they talk about the guy that just got released for was it Achilles or something he hurt? Supposed to make $10 million this year.
Oh, that Juwan James.
So man, that's gonna hurt a lot of people doing these off-season workouts. Like shit, you go out and get hurt somewhere else that's outside of the team, and they can cut you without paying you. Like that's crazy. There's a lot of guys that do their own personal training outside of where they play at. And it helps. Heck, we get a ton. I'm talking about a ton of NFL guys here in Dallas that work out in these facilities down here. And could you imagine like some of those guys getting hurt here and then going back and not being able to get that paycheck? That's crazy.
I know it. That's in contract though, E. It's in the contract. That's the bad part. Like when you have like ambiguity sometimes, when when guys are not like, listen, we still doing things to improve ourselves for the team, right? For the team's benefit. I'm not out here, dirt biking or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Hang gliding. I'm not doing that. I understand some things of that nature, but if I'm sitting here working out to improve myself for your benefit, come on, man. You got to meet me somewhere halfway with this thing. You have to. There's got to be some type of. I get it. And
it was cool that Patrick Mahomes actually brought light to that when I think he quote tweeted and said something about that. So if you're going to have a big players kind of bring to light like stuff like this, it's messed up. The guy's trying to better his body for you and your team, and you're gonna cut the guy and he loses out on 10 million. So I think that's one thing. If bigger players can bring that stuff to light and kind of call out the BS that that is that. I think that is a good thing. That's one of the beauties of social media right there, where you guys can just call that out right away. Teams will jump on it like, yeah, it's not going to happen to you. Don't worry about that.
I don't know, man. Power dynamics right now. The owners, boy, them jokers. Hey. Tough. They try to get their money back. Let me put it that way. They try to get their money back as soon as they give it to you. Some owners, I know at least some of them are. So
that's crazy though.
Yeah.
And then you have guys like Aaron Rodgers who, if they don't trade him, he'll force his retirement and he'll have to pay back. I read like something like $40 million or something like that. If he retires, he has to pay back the next 2 years of his salary to the team. That's a way of sticking it to the man, I guess.
Aaron is good enough to where if he sits out and has to pay that back, I think a team would pay that off just to bring him in.
Absolutely.
So that'd be dumb on Green Bay's part either way. Like Green Bay's in a, excuse my language, in a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, either way, Aaron can do what Aaron wants to do.
Yeah.
And State Farm has his back.
Damn right that he's insured.
Go host Jeopardy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing about that situation, I know it's a Chiefs show, but when I read Pro Football Talk reported yesterday that he was telling the free agents this year when they were coming to sign, he was like, "I'm not going to be here, so you guys can sign here or not, but I'm not going to be here." And then this comes out on draft night, taking the whole steam away from these young guys that the Aaron Rodgers wants out at Green Bay. I mean, he really toyed with the team. I mean, to wait till this point in the season to do that, I get you want out, but geez, you wait till this part in the stage of the offseason to let everyone know.
So even now, they can't even put their trust in the dude that they brought in to replace him. Like, they still don't have confidence and love to be out on the field right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you screwed up big time.
Yeah. And he's the only quarterback on the roster outside of Rodgers. It's Love, and they trade Rodgers. They only have Love, so they're gonna have to pick up a vet.
They had a guy from Boyle's not up there anymore from EKU. He had a guy up there, EKU Boyle.
I don't think it was Tim Boyle, right?
Yeah, Timmy Boyle, baby. Yeah.
I don't think he's there anymore because I read a report.
Yeah, I know they said that Love is the only one that they have on the roster.
That's crazy.
Oh, shoot, they doing us in EKU. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that was a hell of a show. You know, we closed out a little Green Bay and Rodgers and this kind of this rumor mill talk. But the draft season's in the books, and now we're kind of looking ahead. We're getting closer to the season. By next week, we'll probably have, as far as NBA playoffs, we'll probably know the seedings go. So we'll have a little prediction as for what will happen in the NBA playoffs. But that's it, guys. Follow us on Twitter on @ConcernsChief and subscribe to us on all podcasts, any way you can get a podcast, and our YouTube channel as well, Chief Concerns. So, guys, a hell of an episode.